Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope that you are having a fantastic day so far. I hope wherever you are in the world, today has been treating you well. In today's video, I'm finally going to be introducing my Pan That Palette Project Pan series and I am so excited. So at some point, like at the end of last year, I think it was like November, December time, I did a video where I was talking about the potential palettes that I wanted to include in both a Pan That Palette series and a Project Level Up series. That one will be coming next week. If you want to see that, subscribe. But I did a video where I was talking about all of the palettes that I thought would be options, and I was asking for your opinions basically on what palettes you think I should pan, what palettes you think I should be working on for a whole year. And underneath that video, I would say 95% of the comments all said Cosmic Beauty Serenity. So that is the palette that we are working on for Pan That Palette. I am so excited. I love this palette. I love this colour story. It's one that I reach for regularly. I love the finishes. I love the actual colour story. I love the duochromes. I love the multichromes. I love the mattes. I think all of it is just beautiful and I'm so excited to be working on this for a whole year. So I'm going to include some clips here of what this palette looks like inside so that you can see the progress, like very, very close up of all of the pans. But as you can see, there are no pans currently. There's dents in some of them. There's definitely, like, the biggest dent is in the purple duo multichrome on the bottom row, which is called Ether. That is definitely my most used multichrome in this palette, and all of the mattes I feel like I have used equally. I have used all of them, like, because the colour story is so varied, I feel like it's an equal use across all of them. Now I will say, this is my first Pan That Palette series that I have ever done, so I'm giving myself a little bit of grace with this, and because some of these shades are incredibly dark, I don't know how much I am personally going to get to use them even over a full year's worth of working on this palette. I don't know how much I'm going to get through all of the shades, but this is a 20 pan palette and I am setting myself the goal of hitting pan in 10 of them. And I feel like for me, that seems doable, but also I'm still gonna have to work on it. Like, it's not so far off that I feel like it's completely impossible, but it's still gonna take some work to get to 10 pans in this palette. I will also say that when I do updates for this video, I'm going to be doing them monthly. I'm going to be updating both my Project Level Up and this series. I'm going to be updating monthly, so subscribe if you want to see updates for it. But I'm going to try and remember, and this is me telling myself to do this in the future, when I am just like getting ready for a day at work and I'm getting ready and doing my makeup, I'm going to take pictures. I'm so bad at it because quite often I'm in a rush getting ready at like 7 o'clock in the morning to head off to work. But I do use this palette regularly on an everyday just for work. I'll quickly talk through some of the shades that I think I'm going to be able to pan very, very easily. So on the top row, I feel like all of these will be very, very easy for me to pan. So we have got Opal, which is a duochrome, but it's more of like a topper sort of, like the density of colour is quite sheer. So I feel like that just sort of over the lid, over any of the colours will absolutely go. Then like these are all mattes, and because they're quite bright, I do like using those. I mean, obviously not the sort of khaki green, this one which is called Earth, that's like a crease shade for me, but all of the other ones I will just very, very intensely pack on the inner corner or pack over the whole lid, blend it out with like my bronzer or one of the more neutrally shades to get a very intense, colourful sort of look. So the top row I feel like will be easy. The second row, the darker shades, so River and Forest, Smoky Wing. Smoky Wing, easy, but that's not using a lot of product at a time, so I'm not sure how that's going to go. I do like Odyssey just all over the lid. It's a very, very smooth, more cool toned gold shade. Very, very beautiful. Spring, again, we'll pack that on the inner corner. Very, very light sort of minty shade. And then Serenity is more of like a duochrome, multi-chromy blue shade. Again, all over the lid, pack it on, call it a day. Then the third row down, Awake, I will absolutely use in that way to like pack onto the inner corner. Twilight is a very, very dark shimmer. This is one that I don't know how much use I will get because it is very, very dark. And if I'm using a shimmer, I'm using it to highlight. I'm using it in a way to brighten, and I'm using it like all over the lid. I wouldn't necessarily use this all over the lid. So this is one that I don't think I will be able to hit pan on. We'll wait and see. This very may well be one that I hit pan on first. I don't know how this is going to go. And then the last three are all mattes. Again, very, very dark blue, very intense indigo blue, Smoky Wing, beautiful, or like deepening something up on the outer corner if it's more of a blue look. And I love greens. I love greens. So these two, very, very easy to use. Wanderer, green duochrome. Easy, super duper easy for me. Again, Ether, very, very easy. Wash of something across the lid, by far my most used shade in this palette. So I would guess that that is probably the one that I will hit pan on first. Then two pastels, which I'm so excited to be using in spring. The formula of these pastels is absolutely beautiful. So I'm very excited to be using these more in spring. Again, packing it on the inner corner, brightening something up. I love a matte, bright pastel inner corner just for a day at work. So they're shades that I will use like mindlessly. And then a really, really nice matte black, again, to like smoke out the lash line, create a little smoky wing, something like that. So that is all of the shades that like, really there's only that Twilight shade and like the very, very dark mattes that I'm like, I don't know how much use I'm going to get out of them, but I feel like 10 pans by the end of the year is completely doable in this palette. Watch me get to the end of the year and I've used this 70 million times and not hit a single pan. But I feel like very, very doable for me and my makeup aesthetic, I suppose. The way that I like to do makeup is very sort of ethereal, I suppose you could say. Colour, I love colour, but I love like bright neon-y pastels, and that's exactly what this one is. So obviously I don't have any makeup on currently, so I'm going to be doing my makeup with this palette today. Honestly, I don't know what I want to do. Like, I just want to use all of them. I think maybe something purpley. I do have some other videos that I want to do today, but also I'm feeling the urge to use a graphic liner and do something a bit crazy. I know that's very, very unlike me, but let's just start. I have already got my Beauty Bay eye primer on, so I will just tap that out, and let's take a fluffy brush, and I'm going to start with, see, I do wish that this palette had something that's more of like a bronzery tone for me to do like through the crease, but I could just use a bronzer. Also, Project Level Up, which I already know what I'm doing, but I haven't filmed that yet. But that will have something, so I can use the two together. That was my whole plan. So, fluffy brush, let's start with a very, very light wash of Oasis, which is the peachy shade. Start with that through the crease. So I've just zoomed you in so that you can actually see what I'm doing. What a concept. But I've just worked that through the crease and really like blended it out so that there's a bit of a transition-y thing going on. Then I'm going to take a more a smaller, fluffier brush, and I'm going to go straight into Pixie. This one, ooh, this one here. I'm basically wanting to do a look that matches my nails. That's the vibe. So dipping into Pixie, and I'll pack that on the outer corner. See, I love this shade just all over the lid. Just for an everyday look with like a big wing, like very sort of 60s vibes. I love that. But I'm going to do something a bit different today. Like not different at all for like literally anybody else, but I'm wanting something quite colourful today. So packing this on the outer corner, blending it in a little bit across the lid. And then I'm just going to take this lightest purple shade, which is called Make a Wish, and I'm going to pack that across the lid. And then obviously I'm going in with that ether shade, that duochrome that I'm obsessed with, that matches my nails. I'm gonna go in with that basically across the lid. And that's probably just about it. But I do want to do some sort of liner thing. I'm just seeing where the day takes me. Okay, so I'm happy with how that is looking. It's like pastel, but then also quite dark, which is absolutely how I like to do my makeup. So then I'm just going to take my finger and dip into that ether shade. I just want a little, oh, it's just beautiful. I just want a little bit of sparkle across the lid. Because of course I do, and that is the perfect shade to match my nails. It has almost got a bluey undertone to it. I might do a matte blue in a corner with that Echo shade. That would go. That's my plan. That is my plan. So I'm just sort of scattering this over. You can get like full pigment with this where you wouldn't necessarily have to put a shadow underneath it, but I just wanted a little bit of this like reflect, a little bit of that glitter, just a little, you know what I mean, just a little bit of that. So happy with that. I'm not happy with this top. It keeps falling off my shoulders. I try and wear something cute and it just falls off my shoulders. So one last little blend with that first brush that I was using for the Oasis, that peachy shade. No more pigment, but just to make sure all that's really nice and soft. And then I'm going to go ahead and clean this up. I'm going to find a Glisten Cosmetics liner and do something. And then I'll finish off the rest of my face. We can come back and I can finish up under the eyes together. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm just tapping in a little bit of a liquid highlight. I want to be really glowy today. The highlight that I'm wearing is actually the Beauty Bay liquid highlight in the shade Pearl, which if you didn't see my videos in December, I am doing a project 25 where I pick 25 products that I want to use 25 times, and this is one of the products that's in that. I will leave that video linked if you want to see it, but that's the highlight that I'm wearing, and I know I will get questions. The liner that I've done like some little dots is also a duochrome purple to blue liner. I know, it is the Glisten Cosmetics wet liner in, is that Curacao? Or it can't be it can't be Curacao. Curacao. I refuse to believe that, but that is the shade It's beautiful. I'm getting more of these. I've got a few and I've just been loving them recently, so just did a few little dots with that one. And let's just finish up something a little bit purple and smoky under the eyes. So back in with, let's just go in with Pixie, that darker purple, and wiggle that all the way along the lower lash line. Join it up on the outer corner. I do like a smoky under eye, so that colour is perfect for that. It's not too dark, but it's still really, really nice and smoky, and I love. That could be one of the first shades that I finish, that Pixie shade, truly, because I love purple and this shade is just perfection. I love it. And then to finish off the eyeshadows, I'm just going to take another small sort of tapered brush and I'm going to dip into that Echo shade, that bright blue, like baby blue, and I'm going to pack this right onto the inner corner. So, oh, there's a cat hair attached to that brush because there's a cat hair attached to literally everything in this house. So just a little bit of that packed onto the inner corner. I love that shade as an inner corner. Like, it's so pastel neon. I think when I did my first impression of this palette, I did this colour on the inner corner and I just love it. But again, thinking of pans, like, I use such a small amount when I do a bright inner corner because I'm just like tapping in, and obviously it's a smaller surface area, the very, very inner corner, but I really like that. And I feel like that blue on the inner corner like ties in with the little flecks of duochrome shimmer across the lid. So I'm just going to do a bit of mascara on the bottom lashes and then we are done. There we go. So my first eyeshadow look using my Pan That palette for 2025. I feel like I didn't even necessarily plan that, but I feel like this eyeshadow look perfectly matches. I mean, I could do with a bit of green, but I feel like it perfectly matches the packaging. I love it. I love it and I'm so excited to be using this even more in 2025. So that is the finished look. Like I say, the first look using my Pan That palette for 2025. And like I say, I am only aiming for 50% pan completion. I'm going to go until the end of the year and we're just going to see how far we get. But honestly, if I hit 10 pans, I would be thrilled. I feel like that is a really great amount out of a 20 pan palette. I feel like that's completely doable. I'm happy with that as my goal and I'm very, very excited about this palette. It is one of my favourite palettes, but also it's not like so incredibly, like, it's top tier. It is top tier, but it's not top. What am I trying to say? Like, I love it. I genuinely love it, but it's not my #1 spot. I do need to do a ranking video with all of my Cosmic palettes because I did one last year and there have been more that have been released. There have been more that I've purchased since then. So I do feel like I need to do another ranking video. I will try and get that done ASAP as possible. But this is the finished look. I would love to hear what you think about it. I would love to hear if you are taking part in a Pan That palette this year. What palette have you chosen? Are you planning on like full completion, or are you planning on just hitting pans? What percentage of pans? I want to know all the things. I am so nosy. But thank you ever so much for joining me today. I hope that you're having a fantastic day, but until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye.